to say that I have known James G. Patton, who is the immediate past president of the National Farmers Union. And Mr. Patton, we're talking to you out in Washington. How are things going? What have you been doing?
Well, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you, and especially to be here this evening with this wonderful group of Farmers Union ladies. I am 69 years young. Chronologically, I'm 69 years old, but philosophically, I'm 25 years young. I'm not pessimistic. First, I'm in good health. Secondly, I am very optimistic. I think we're very close to a rural renaissance, which will bring back family farming and will bring people back to the rural areas of America. I don't think it will come through the commodity program. I think it will come by change in the value system, and many people will, of great desire, move back to the country, and there will be a great movement among the environmentalists and the younger people who see the richness of family living. And the rural areas will indeed be family farms. Some of them will be small, some of them will be larger, and I think that we are seeing a real change in the value system. The agricultural colleges and a lot of the people who tried to help agriculture have put great, and the economists especially, have put great emphasis on production efficiency. So we've buried ourselves in surpluses. We've buried ourselves in debt by trying to keep up with the gadgets and machinery that the economists and the research engineers and the machinery companies have plowed on us. And now we're suddenly, as Americans, not just farmers, but as Americans, realizing that bigness is not necessarily a virtue. Some of the automobile companies are the biggest in the world, but they call back 6 million cars. The Pennsylvania Railroad can't even get you across the state of Pennsylvania, let alone across the nation. So we're getting a disenchantment with bigness per se, and we're getting a change of values where clean air and wholesome food and the discontinuance of the pollution of our streams. Particularly, I'm interested in seeing farmers play a new role, a role that they've done for a long time, but with a new emphasis of soil conservation and cleaning up the streams. I'm interested in public service employment, such as the Green Thumb and many others, very large, and rebuilding and beautifying rural America.
Well, this is one thing that I remember, and I've been with the Farmers Union. I've known you for 13 years, Mr. Patton, and you've always talked about, and let's get away from this, making two blades of grass grow where one grows.
That is absolutely correct, and I'm glad that you've always been very kind to me, but I sincerely believe that the real values of living are built around the family. They're built around a reasonable amount of work with a purpose. And I can't think of anything more worthwhile than seeing life begin and mature and grow, and having children watch the processes of life. Because in our modern life, the babies are not born in the homes. They're born in the hospital where the children don't know anything about it. Death occurs in the hospital. It doesn't occur in the home anymore. So these are some of the fundamental things as one matures and ripens in their thinking. I want to say, while I have the chance, that I have great faith in the young people today. I'm not in any way worried about where they're going. I think that they're coming out on top. And I feel very good about it. I'm concerned about things like the happening today. I'm very sorry that Mr. Wallace was shot. I was opposed to him politically, but I think it's a tragedy that a man can't run for office in this country or be a public figure without being shot by someone. And I think this is some evidence of our culture and the necessity to get back on the track. So I'm still looking for peace to break out in America and the world, and for us to have a new chance to be purposeful instead of being negative and trying to kill people everywhere and spend all of our money building overkill instruments of war and going to the moon to the tune of 25 billion. I'm sure that we will turn things around.
Mr. Patton, do you think this country can stand a world of peace?
Yes, I very definitely do. First place, I feel that it will force a readjustment of our values. We will redefine work. The rote work, the tiresome work will be done more with energy and power. But we won't spend so much energy. We're driving too many automobiles. We don't have enough mass transportation. We're trying to produce too much of everything. And we ought to spend some of it in time and leisure, and getting more education, more knowledge, in travel. We can produce enough to live very well, but we're going to have to live simpler, more fundamental lives. I don't mean by that going backward, but I do mean that there have to be more fundamental things. We have to build automobiles if we're going to have automobiles that last 10 years instead of a year, and that they won't fall apart. We have to go back to washing the diapers instead of using disposable diapers and all this plastic. We have to learn how to cook again instead of cooking everything ready cook. And I think we're going to go to more homegrown foods on the farm as a means of having good food rather than having the dangers of processing and artificial colors and all of that sort of thing.
Well, we want to thank you so much, Mr. James G. Patton, people person, and my life is so much better just for having known you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dakota. I feel the same way about you, and I'm very proud that young men like you have given so much of their life and service to the people of this country. And if I have one experience which is richer than all the rest, it's seeing young men like you and young women develop and grow up in a people's movement.
We believe in people, sir. Thank you, Mr. James G. Patton. We're visiting with Charlie Nash, who is the organizational director from the state of Ohio. And Mr. Nash, I understand that you are one of the very few states throughout the entire country that have some lawsuits on school aids through property taxation. And with your lawsuit, what are you trying to do?
Well, Dick, we're trying to eliminate property taxes as a means of the support for education in the state of Ohio. The farmer has long time been burdened or overburdened with high real estate property taxes, and they have been increasing each year as we go along with each new appraisal. So we spent considerable time, the Farmers Union people in the state of Ohio and the state legislature, trying to get adequate property tax relief through the legislature, and we did get a 10% property tax rollback, but it was only a token, very, very little as far as an actual equality in taxing in the state of Ohio. So we filed this tax suit, which is based on equal taxation, and it's the first suit, to my knowledge, is filed such as the type of suit that we're filing. Most of them have been filed on equal distribution, but we have distribution in mind, but the key of ours is to get tax equality. And you might be interested to know that the average farmer in the state of Ohio is paying an amount equal to 27% of his net income, net farm income in real estate property taxes. And this is the highest of any segment of the economy in the state of Ohio. And therefore, this is why we've filed this tax suit.
Well, Mr. Nash, is this something similar to the one that has been put into the courts out in California?
Well, as I understand it, the California case, and I can't recall the name of it right now, but the California case was geared to distribution and also to tax relief. I believe there was a ruling made on the distribution part of it, but there was never a ruling made in regards to equitable taxation. And so ours would be different from the standpoint that we're gearing ours to equal taxation instead of distribution.
Well, Mr. Nash, where is the money going to come from if you take it off the personal property tax?
Well, of course, we in Farmers Union feel that the only fair tax is a tax based on your ability to pay. And this is a tax based on net income, a graduated tax. And this is what we're striving for, and hoping that we can get education totally supported by a graduated net income tax on both personal and corporate income.
Now, has this lawsuit just been introduced into the courts, or how far along is it?
It was introduced into the court, the Federal Court of Northwestern Ohio, at Toledo, Ohio, last Tuesday. And, of course, this is as far as we've gone with it. We have no date that's been set as far as a hearing or the court proceedings to start, but we would expect it to come up on a docket in July or August.
What kind of backing do you have for this?
Financial backing?
No, people backing.
Oh, we have very, very strong backing as far as the farm people and homeowners in the state of Ohio. But this other backing we're kind of interested in, too, because we're doing this on a contribution basis in support of the tax suit. We have approximately $4,000 that we have raised at this time, and I would say that through this one process, we'll probably need a maximum of about $20,000. So we're in the process now of coming up with the do-re-mi to pay the bill. And I might add that farmers have been very receptive to donating in this cause because there's no one, and virtually no one that you talk to that doesn't agree that taxes is one of the key issues in the state of Ohio, the same as it is many other states.
I want to thank you very much, Charlie Nash from the state of Ohio.